you're genuinely interested in helping the person, obviously your conversation changes because, especially as a non-pharmacist, you've got that ability to say, hey, I don't think this is right, but I'm actually not 100% sure. But now we've got a tool that can help us determine whether it is right or not. And I'm only doing this in the best interest of helping you because I don't want you to have any adverse effects from your medications. And I just want to make sure that you're on the right meds. And I think a lot of the times what we see is, especially when there's multiple doctors involved, and cardiologists might start meds and then the GP's responsibility to sort of continue them, or psychs do the same thing. They'll start a medication, GP continues it, or sometimes they'll just continue prescribing that and the GP doesn't even know about it, and that's where the things
Yes.
sort of start to come undone. So
Mm.
there's so many issues that you can see that happen with prescribing medications where a doctor will prescribe even just a statin, a pretty low risk drug. I don't agree with them being used in a lot of cases. They have a purpose in some people, but look, some people might start a statin and they come with 5 repeats. So they've got 6 months worth of medications and they go back and see the doctor in a month's time and the doctor says, oh, actually, that's not really working. Let's change it to this other one. Now they've got 2 scripts, 2 active scripts of the same drug class or different. And now the poor patient doesn't know what they're supposed to be taking. So they take both. Couple that with brands and generics. So now they go to the pharmacy and they get prescribed and dispensed a brand name. Then they get the generic. And if they're going to different pharmacies, both the drugs that they've taken home with the packet say take one in the morning. And they go, all right, well, I'm taking one of these in the morning, one of these in the morning, not knowing that they're the exact same drug. And that is such a simple, common issue. And that's why we see, like, I think it's 2%, almost 3% of hospitalizations in Australia, entire hospitalizations, is caused by preventable medication related concerns. It's all these sorts of things that just get missed, which is what needs to be, tidied up, in my opinion. So having those conversations, I think, is actually quite easy because I've got a genuine interest in making sure that person's on the right meds.
Mm. Mm. And if we're not making treatment gains, or if people are reporting things like excessive fatigue all the time, it's very easy to go, let's go and get, something else sorted out, or it's a mental health condition. But like you identified with that family member of yours taking Lyrica, suicidal ideation, if you know that drug, that it's very clear that's what that drug causes or has the potential to cause.
Yeah.
It works great for other people. It did not work for me. I can
Yep.
assure you, I
Yeah,
was
that's
no,
right.
thank you.
And
But
that's the thing, like, a lot of people actually don't get benefit from that drug, and that's fine. You can trial it, but if you're not getting the benefits, there's obviously no reason continuing to use it. But a lot of doctors are either not stopping it or not canceling the script, and the person's still got access to that for if needed, down the line. So if we
yeah, there's a
tidy up the
whole
prescribing process, then there's so many things that can be improved. Yeah.
yeah, and I think it's again, I want to come back to this. It's not my responsibility. I think your patient care is our responsibility, and learning how to have these conversations. They might be uncomfortable in the beginning, but let's face it, the first time you ever interacted with a client was uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, oh my God,
We've
should I
got
do this on my own?
we've got pharmacists that come to us from, like, hospital pharmacies, a great asset for us when they come to IMM, and that's because they've already had those face-to-face conversations with doctors and other clinicians. But we've also got other pharmacists that are great at IMM that have come from all different walks of life in the pharmacy industry, but none of them have really spoken to doctors the way that we need them to speak to doctors to get changes made to medications, because there's often this huge hierarchy difference between
Yes.
a pharmacist and a doctor, and the doctor's like, how dare you question my prescribing? It's like, hang on, we've got 4 or 5 different health clinicians that have got eyes on this person's treatment plan. How are these things being missed? So our responsibility and our pharmacist's responsibility is to make sure that those things are all tidied up, and then the person can be on the appropriate meds and on their way to recovery.
Yeah, it's such a useful tool, and I think it just speaks into that whole, we've got to get our egos out of the way. And there are medications, I do not know, especially GPs, how they keep up with everything. And I know when I engaged you, I took my information, the information you gave me, back to my medical team and said, this is an independent pharmacist that I've had a look at this. They were grateful. They didn't necessarily like it in the beginning, but they were grateful because then they had a template, like they had somewhere to start with me and went, oh,